along with that sort of epistemological violence, there's also the actual violence, the kind of more physical violence of bombing, which becomes really important in the 1920s with the rebellion. So in 1920 in Mesopotamia, there's a massive uprising against British rule, primarily led by the rural population and the tribes in the south of the country. And the RAF is used extensively because it's in charge of the defense and the security of the country. And bombing becomes a crucial way in which they try to combat the rebellion outside of the urban centres. So there's lots of accounts in the archive of the RAF bombing and attacking these Bedouin communities.
So this image is about before and after of a village of bombing, like before the bombing, aerial bombing, and after the bombing. And it was like the image was taken by RAF photography. When they bomb, they don't only bomb the suspected ones. Obviously, they just bomb the entire village. So women, men, children, and their house, their also livestock. So that was very significant. When they were not bombing, all the demonstrations, they call it demonstrations, or the flyovers over the villages, constant routinized flyovers was part of it, like to show the locals that if they are not bombing them at the moment, they may bomb them any moment. So that was quite significant for the ways in which they organized aerial network there. For instance, the civilian colonial force, when he visited any villages, he was advised to go with airplanes, 6 or 7 airplanes to the village to show the village head that this is the power that you're facing with. So a key architect of aerial colonial structure in Mesopotamia was Hugh Trenchard. He especially he gave lots of lectures. He was leading RAF for pretty long time, and then after he left RAF, he became part of Metropolitan Police Force. So you can also see the sort of the continuation of colonial policing to metropolitan policing. When he talked about the significant success of air power in Mesopotamia, he often said, look, there's a special moral effect of aerial control there. So that moral effect, always talk about it at RAF documents and also in other official documentation, you also see that. So moral effect, what they call moral effect, is the sort of the ways in which they controlled the bodies, individual and collective bodies of colonized people from above, from within, So it's just, it's not only from the sky, but also from their insides, because, what we do, we often look at sky to get air to feel better about ourselves. Sky is not territorialized, right? But in this case, the whole organization of Royal Air Force in Mesopotamia was to create the sense that sky was totally territorialized. They had no place to go. Everywhere they could be found, they could be killed, they could be, tamed in the way that the white men want them. So that is the sort of the psychological effect.
I think another striking thing about this image is in the first image of the village before the bombing, we see many roads. And in the picture after, all the roads are seemingly gone. And I think it's, along with this kind of psychological warfare that's conducted through the use of a symbolic use of air power, there's also this very real material use of air power to destroy the local infrastructure, to get rid of roads and to bomb villages and destroy houses. So it's a combination of these two things which is, I think, really powerful, and why air power was seen as something which the British needed to utilise to control the region.